Blitz with John Abraham, Captain Cool, and the Bandiman Bailey Lowery. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Captain Cool.
Hello and welcome in, everybody, to a Wacky Wednesday here in No Man's Land. John Abraham, Captain Cool, alongside the Bandiman Bailey Lowery.
Hey.
And Bandy, I got myself a little bit of Trash Panda's work last night, all right? I will say. All right, beautiful night. It was a beautiful night. It rained a little bit. I was on the speed pitch, so it was really just me watching the entire game from afar. But it was very enjoyable. And today I'll be back out on the Trash Panda's field at Toyota Field.
Hey, very nice.
And I'll be getting my final. I said this the last time I went and worked for him, but this will officially be my final day as a Trash Panda's employee. I know. Soak that in. Hopefully Ricky's not listening, because it might not be true. I might be back there next year. I have no clue, but it is the last homestand of this season. So if you guys haven't got out to a Trash Pandas game this season, make sure you start getting those tickets ready. I mean, it's $8 to get in. It's just a great deal, and then you just get amazing baseball as well as just amazing atmosphere, entertainment, all that great stuff. That's what you can expect out there. And if you go today, which is literally going to be in the span of like 45 minutes. I'm supposed to be there. I'm not going to do that, obviously, because I have a show to do, but I will be leaving as soon as this show's up to go there for their midday matchup against Pensacola. And you know who else will be out there, Bandy?
Who else?
One Mr. Tom Abraham. I don't know if you know about him or anything, but, he's going to be doing his show live from Toyota Field, so make sure you guys either tune in or just stop on by. Again, it's $8 to get in. And you get to watch beautiful baseball on a beautiful day. It's wonderful out there. I'm loving this weather, Bandy. It's really nice.
I mean, it's a good thing. I mean, that's what I really like about this town is that we are spoiled with local sports right now. And I think we're just going to continue to keep getting more.
For sure. And yesterday when I was doing the speed pitch, obviously I had a lot of fans come up, and they were obviously wanting to throw a few balls and all that good stuff, which, by the way, my arm is completely thrown out because whenever I'm over there, the entire time I'm throwing it. And it draws people in, but at the same time, it makes my arm less and less usable. So today I'll be moving it around a little bit, just trying to get out the kinks and all that stuff, because who knows? I might be on speed pitch again today. Hopefully not, because I want to entertain the masses while I can also stop by and talk with Tom, because why not? That'd just be a fun little day. But yeah, make sure you guys come on out, or you just listen while Tom is out there, because it's going to be a great little show. Obviously, he's probably going to be talking some college football and all around sports, whereas we usually just sit on the football. We either talk about college or we talk about NFL, and I think the Talking Ball guys did plenty of the college football stuff. So I think
they did a lot.
Today, we're going to focus a little bit more on the NFL side of things, and we're also going to have one Mr. RJ White on from sportsline.com to talk about this upcoming week in the National Football League. But we will start out the show talking a little bit about this AP poll, because very interesting week 2 AP poll. But first off, let me remind you that this show is presented by Fleming Roofing and Restoration, the guys you need to talk to about all of your roofing needs. If you're having any roofing problems, make sure you look them up online at FlemingHSV.com to fill out your free quote. And remember that Fleming always shows up. You guys can also watch us on top of listening to us on the app. You can watch us over on WZZN TV on YouTube and Twitch. It's honestly my favorite way to watch the shows, okay? I will say.
I think so, too, yeah. Because, I mean, it's great. It's great hearing us.
Yeah.
It's good that you can hear our voice.
It's wonderful, yeah.
But it's just for a little flavor on top of that, being able to see us as well.
Yeah,
and being able to talk with us in chat if you want to.
Exactly. And you can see either being the Bandiman on your big, on your middle, on your small screen. It doesn't really matter on anything. And you can see the mannerisms that we use, because I'm a very vocal guy with my body language. I'm very vocal with my body language. I don't know if that makes any sense, but so is Tom. Like, whenever he talks, he's all over the place, and obviously he's going to be over at the Rock Porch at Toyota Field, so you'll get to see a beautiful little scene behind him as he's also talking to you or serenading you guys throughout the work day. I know, Bandy, he's just like, oh, I don't want Tom to serenade me.
Yeah, I mean, I already hear the Rihanna liner one too many times.
Oh, jeez, yeah. Let's not even talk about that one.
But
that's gonna scar me.
Back to the AP poll though.
Yeah.
Like, was there any of these teams that after their week one matchups kind of surprised you in these rankings?
I will say, getting to see Colorado make the leap up into the top 25 was a little crazy to see. Now that they're in the top 25, though, I feel like the sky is the limit, okay? The ceiling is just, it is wherever it needs to be. Wherever Deion Sanders can get this team, that is where the limit is, okay? Because Travis Hunter, he looks insane, okay? I got to say, playing both sides of the ball in college football is something that we don't see much of, and when we do, it's usually not that good, okay? It's usually when you just need to throw a player out there, he needs to play both sides because you might not have the depth that you're looking for. Travis Hunter, he's an exception. He's amazing, okay? And then obviously Shadir Sanders is just he's something else as well, being able to throw, I believe, 4 touchdowns in that matchup against TCU. I mean, this guy was he was on fire, I will say. But Colorado being at 2-2, I think it's good. I think it's good for them. I think it's where they need to be. I think it's more realistic than TCU being number 17. Didn't think that should have been the case in the first place, but I get that. The NCAA didn't want to just kick them completely out of the top 25 after going to the national championship. Like, what type of sense does that make?
I mean, they already kicked them out of a top 10.
Oh, yeah, they're gone now. They're just pushing them away.
Well, that was the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the thing, though. For TCU, going into this season, they did not look like they were going to be like how Alabama is if they lose in the national championship, where they're still going to be in the top 3, possibly the top 4 or 5, okay?
See, that would have been my final nail. I would have been the final straw for me. It's like, all right, we already didn't think you were going to be a national championship contender, let alone a playoff one.
Yeah.
Already out of the top 10. You take the loss against the completely brand new reworked Colorado, and not only that, like, you got beat on the line of scrimmage.
They were the martyr, I would say, for Colorado.
I'd say that'd be it. I'd be like, all right, well, that proved it.
Exactly.
Out of a top 25, Colorado takes your spot. They're up now in their same rank, and TCU's out of the top 25.
Yeah, TCU is gone from the top 25. Clemson is just barely hanging on. I mean, they're hanging on by the string of the balloons that are carrying this away. Okay.
Hey, same with Tulane at the 24 spot.
Exactly. That kind of upsets me, I will say, because we do have a pretty good matchup coming up with Ole Miss at Tulane on September 9th. So that one, I think, is going to be a lot closer than a lot of people think. Ole Miss was able to destroy their competition, but now they're actually going up against the Tulane team, who still has some big bodies from last season. Obviously, they lose Tajay Spears, but they keep a majority of their offense, and on top of that, their defense is still, it's a pretty solid rock, I would say. I'd say it's more of instead of a wall, it's more of like an ocean, just a wave coming at you. I guess that's what it makes sense. It's the green wave. Texas A&M is also sitting at number 23. And now looking at the top 10, around the top 10 area, 12, Utah. Utah's still sitting there. I think that this Utah team has kind of proven themselves to where they kind of deserve to be in the top 10, I will say. Okay, they come in this season around the same mark. They beat a Florida team. I wouldn't say it's a Florida team that really would push you that far, but at the same time, a Utah team getting a defeat against Florida after losing last season, it shows that this team's got growth, and they're not going to fold even against any SEC team that they have to go up against.
That is true. It's just you got that gatekeeper right there at the 11 spot in Texas.
Yeah, and then
which personally, I think I did not see their first 2 games in Notre Dame.
Yeah,
their first 2 matchups.
Yeah, they were cupcake games.
That's what I figured. But I would have, I mean, on paper, I would have Utah over the Fighting Irish right now.
Just barely. I think they're kind of equal right now.
Literally switch them in Notre Dame.
Yeah, I would.
And you got it right.
I can't deny you too much on that one. I would say these 3 teams, the Texas, the Utah, the Notre Dames, are all pretty close. I think Texas is honestly the better of the 3. But at the same time, you got to see them go up against the Joe Schmo team, and now they're going up against Alabama, okay?
Yeah, now we got probably the second best matchup and like before the national championship
I know,
going on this weekend.
And I said we wouldn't talk about NFL matchups, but this is pretty much going to be an NFL matchup because all of these guys are going to be in the NFL sometime next year on throughout the next 4 years. So it's going to be a good little matchup. Notre Dame is at number 10. At number 9 is Tennessee. 8 is Washington. Penn State is at 7, which, by the way, going back to Washington, they handled Boise State pretty good.
They did. They handled business.
They did a pretty good job of that. Number 6 is USC. There's still a lot to be seen from this USC team, okay? Caleb Williams, obviously, is going to be leading the charge on top of his just plethora of wide receivers. The defense is the one question mark for this team. Once they go up against the top-tier defense, that's when we're going to see it all go downhill for them. Bandy, look up their schedule, get it ready for me, and just kind of run off their next 3 3 games, and we'll kind of talk about which one's going to be the scary one.
All right, so what we got? So they just played Nevada.
Okay, trash. Just nothing's going to amount to that game.
And for one, actually, we didn't even go to the game before. I mean, San Jose State put up 28 on them the week before.
We did talk about that come week 0.
Just a little bit.
And it was the defense that was kind of just like shaky. But Caleb Williams, you see what he's able to do. I mean, this guy, he's like the magic man, okay? He comes out of random stuff and he just pulls it out of his butt and then he just throws it down the field and it's a touchdown. That's just how it is. That's the Caleb Williams show.
All right, then you got Stanford at USC.
Okay, that's going to be a dub.
Then at Arizona State.
That's going to be a dub.
At Colorado.
That's the one.
That's the one.
That's one we wanted to circle, okay?
And we were talking about that one last week. It's like, all right, depending on how good Colorado looks against TCU in their week 1 matchup, like, we need to circle this game.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, they got the outright win.
It's gonna be interesting because it's a USC team that has kind of just been slowly just kind of keeping pace with all the other top 10 teams, and Lincoln Riley's doing a great job out there in West. But now we get to see another Western opponent in Colorado kind of build up, and this is gonna be it's definitely gonna be a team to watch all season long.
I got one question for you, Captain Cool.
Yeah.
Can Colorado's defense, like, no matter how good they looked like on the offensive side of the ball against TCU, they were still getting scored on. They still got 40 scored on them.
Yeah.
So could their defense be that first challenge for USC, or are we going to have to wait until like a couple weeks later when they play Utah?
Yeah, I think that there's going to be a lot of back and forth in this game.
Maybe Notre Dame.
USC versus Colorado. I think it is going to be a very highly scoring game, okay? That's just the Pac-12 football, though, that we know and love.
Yeah, Caleb Williams is going to have like 4 touchdowns.
Yeah,
at least.
And Shadir Sanders will probably have 3 touchdowns passing and then 2 touchdowns rushing. I mean, it's a thing that we can see in the Pac-12, and it's not really a huge problem. But at the same time, whenever you put those types of teams up against the higher competition over in the SEC, the ACC, and I can't even say really the ACC. I can say Florida State. That's about it. Maybe Duke because, they beat Clemson or whatever. But I could say that those defenses will get a little bit more tough to go up against. And I don't think that we're going to see the same success that we saw with Shadir Sanders and Travis Hunter against the TCU team, okay? Georgia's number 1, Michigan's number 2, Alabama's number 3, and Florida State is number 4. Ohio State got pushed back a little bit. They're at number 5.
Yeah.
I think that's reasonable. They didn't have a crazy showing against Indiana. Marvin Harris Jr., he was doing a wonderful job. But on top, other than that, like, Bandy, can you even name the Ohio State quarterback right now? That's what I'm saying.
No.
Like I know his name. I can't figure it out. It's just they're top players. But we see all this stuff happen where everybody's talking about Alabama and what Alabama's got at the quarterback position.
Yeah, I mean, we've been focused on our own QB battle going on down here in the South.
And then you look over at other top-ranked teams in the country, and we don't know what they've got.
Oh, Kyle McCord.
Kyle McCord.
That's his name.
Okay.
Kyle McCord.
What is he? Is he a sophomore? Is he a junior?
Let's see. He is...
Because that might, equate to why they only put up a few points against Indiana team.
Oh, he's 20 years old.
Okay.
No, he's a junior.
He's a junior. All right. So I just now Kyle McCord. Get that name in your head, guys, because if Ohio State's good, thanks to Kyle McCord, the guy that nobody knew his name coming into this season. Okay. Georgia being at number 1, that's reasonable. Alabama being at number 3, we're making our way up.
But how about Florida State getting 3 first-place votes over Michigan's 2?
And over Alabama's 0.
To be fair, we went up against, come on, we went up against Middle Tennessee.
I know. Florida State, I think they had better competition over the weekend, and I think that's the reason why. For Michigan, they're kind of just in their ways right now, going through the season without Jim Harbaugh. They're not going to be, blowing out anybody. It's crazy special because, again, their first 3 games are against cupcake teams.
All right, but before we hop into a break here, we actually have some breaking news because this will be the only time I can talk about basketball on this show somehow. But we have the FIBA World Cup going on right now, the FIBA World Cup.
Nice.
And, hey, on Sunday, USA makes the final. That's going to be a great day of sports.
Mm-hmm.
But we have our first ejections of the tournament.
Okay.
Dylan Brooks, of course, everyone's favorite former Memphis Grizzly, now Houston Rocket, has been ejected, as well as Luka Doncic, for 2 technical fouls, have both been ejected from Canada versus Slovenia.
Okay. Well,
you know what? I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Luka, a little bit. I mean, 2 technical fouls, you get it. You're playing rough.
Yeah.
Dylan Brooks, not surprised. I'm glad he's off of Memphis, so maybe they can finally start having success and maybe getting John Morant back on track.
Yeah.
but he's not going to get anything done down in Houston.
Yeah, exactly. And if you guys have
Worst team in the West.
any comments on the AP poll on the basketball world, 256-576-4
97.7
is the number to call. But me and Bandy have to hit a break because when we come back, we're starting the NFL talk hot here on the Morning Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out. Terms and conditions apply. Visit ISSA online for details.
Tired of the 9-to-5 grind? Looking for something different that's flexible, fulfilling, and pays well? How'd you like to get paid to work out? Now you can with ISSA, the global leader in personal fitness certification.
There's a huge demand for certified personal trainers right now. And once you get ISSA certified, they guarantee you'll get a job. Trainers can make as much as $200 an hour. Yes, I said $200 an hour. And with ISSA, you can be certified in as little as 4 weeks. Just text BENCH to 323232 now to get started for free. You do everything at your own pace and 100% online.
Pursue your passion in specializations like yoga, nutrition, or strength training. Live life on your terms. Get certified and train like you want. Start your own business, work at a gym, or make health and fitness your side hustle. Whatever works for you. Just don't wait.
Get started today and be certified in as little as 4 weeks. Just text BENCH to 323232 right now to get started for free. Text the word BENCH to 323232. Text BENCH to 323232.
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer. Call Bill Chapman today at 256-656-8413. That's 256-656-8413. Or find them online at chapmancommercialrealty.com.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time, or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. For this Wednesday, expect a mostly sunny sky. High temperature is going to be topping out in the lower 90s for the afternoon. Scattered showers and thunderstorms going to be possible in the afternoon as well. Heading into your Wednesday night, we'll keep rain in the forecast through at least midnight. Otherwise, we'll see a partly cloudy sky. Low temperature is going to be falling into the lower 70s. I'm meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Hello and welcome back in, everybody, to the Morning Blitz. John Abraham, Captain Cool, alongside the Bandiman, Bailey Lowery.
How's it going?
It's going good, especially looking at this high school football schedule we got coming up this Friday. We got Buckhorn versus Gadsden City, Madison Academy versus JB Pennington. We got Sparkman versus Austin.
That'll be a great game.
That's going to be an amazing game.
That's gonna be two high-powered offenses going at each other. That's going to be a Pac-12 matchup right there.
And for Ronnie Watson's team, it's going to be the first challenge of the year as well, because the first two games obviously didn't go the way the other teams wanted it, but this one, big game right here. Okay, I've heard a lot of things from the fan base, from the coaches, like this is the one to watch, this is the one to make sure you've got everything for, because last year it went to overtime, very close, kind of a low-scoring game for two high-powered offenses, but now the offenses are even better, and we should see it probably get it. I think it's going to be around like 35, 36 or something like that. I don't know, some random score like that.
I'm looking forward to the Randolph Raiders matchup as well, going over to the JP2 Falcons. Another kind of little rival matchup there.
Yeah, exactly. And then our game of the week is Huntsville versus Grissom, which love to see it. Good for Grissom.
That's a de facto rival matchup right there.
That's one of those matchups where it's like, do we care? Yes, we do care.
Yeah.
But they're not going to make it. They're probably not going to make it to the playoffs either way. But no, I don't want to dog the teams either way. It's high school football. Anything can happen. I mean, we saw a Buckhorn team make it.
Hey, you're talking to a Huntsville Panther right here. We take that game very seriously.
But you're also a Randolph Raider, and I don't know what to call you, honestly. You're just Bandiman to me. But again,
I'm a Randolph Panther. There you go.
There you go. I feel like you'd probably get in trouble for saying that, but it's totally fine because you can be both of them. But Buckhorn, I mean, they were able to make it to the playoffs last year with 3 wins. So just like the high school whole playoff situation, it can get a little weird at times, and you can have some weird teams getting in, and I think all of these teams have the possibility to hop in there, especially Sparkman. Just want to throw that out there, no bias or anything, but either way, I want to talk a little bit about this Dallas Cowboys situation they got going on, because right now it doesn't seem like a lot of people are happy with Jerry Jones. The owner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Hey, shocker.
Reportedly signed or helped get the trade going with the 49ers for a 4th-round pick next draft to get Trey Lance without telling anybody. Mike McCarthy? No, we didn't tell him. Dak Prescott, our starting quarterback? No, we didn't tell him.
Nah, why not?
Probably talked to Cooper Rush about it a little bit, like, hey, you might have a quarterback battle, and it's not going to be with that first spot. It's going to be with that 3rd spot.
He only told one other person, and that was Tony Pollard.
And then his mom. Probably. Whenever he was about to go to bed. That was just me throwing that out there.
By the way, I mean, how do you just make that decision? I mean, I get you're the owner of a team. I get you own the team.
Yeah.
That is not past me.
Okay.
But to just go past everybody to make an executive decision like this to get a backup quarterback, especially one that has not proven himself.
Yeah.
And was already questionable at best.
And now is a 3rd-string quarterback on your team.
I mean, as a Cowboys fan, this just has to be some of the most confusing moves you've seen in a while.
And I think for
because it doesn't make sense to make for Trey Lance.
No, and I think for Cowboys fans as well, I think it is a little bit intriguing. It's a little bit more intriguing than it is kind of what the heck, like what are you doing, Jerry Jones? Because now you got a guy named Trey Lance on your team, a still unproven 1st-round pick from 2 years ago. And then you got Dak Prescott, a guy that, a lot of Cowboys fans either love or they don't like him and they want him out of there. They kind of treat him like a Baker Mayfield, and I only say that because that's kind of my whole thing with it. Baker Mayfield obviously was, the only guy to really win a playoff for the Browns in forever. And then Dak Prescott comes along. He's, pretty decent quarterback. And now you're picking up a guy named Trey Lance for whatever reason. You give the 49ers a 4th-round pick. And now I want to know, keep an eye on that 4th-round pick for next season, because I want to see if yet another player can be drafted that would be better than Trey Lance on your team.
Hey, you never know. But at the same time, if that 4th-round pick turns out to just, another 4th-round NFL draft pick,
yeah,
there you go. You got Trey Lance for that value.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But what if? I'm saying what if he actually does develop behind Dak Prescott?
Okay.
He does bounce back from his multitude of injuries. And he's actually able to show off that ability that an extra college year wasn't able to give him on the Cowboys.
Yeah, maybe it was the 49ers' fault. Maybe the 49ers just had a curse around their quarterbacks as well, they always get injured.
True. Yeah, they do have the quarterback curse of always getting injured, but I'm about to say, you got the same group that's developing Brock Purdy with a ton of weapons on their team.
Yeah.
And probably the most versatile running back in the league, and Christian McCaffrey.
You'd think it'd be hard to not succeed as a 49ers quarterback.
You would think.
We've seen it happen with random quarterbacks before. Colin Kaepernick.
He's got to not break your leg.
Yeah. Alex Smith. Yeah, speak of the devil.
Oh, no.
He broke everything in that leg. Thankfully, he's fine, I guess, now. But, the Cowboys are going up against the Giants this weekend, and I got to look at it with open eyes. And I know. Dak Prescott is like 10-2 against these Giants, all right? The only 2 losses he had were his first 2 games against the Giants. And to think that the Giants could get the upper hand this year wouldn't be too far of a stretch, I would say. Okay, the over on it, the Cowboys are favored in this matchup. They are 3.5-point favorites. The over-under is 46.5. And honestly, if there's any time for the Giants to get the upper hand on the Cowboys, it would be at home against the Cowboys in Week 1, where this team is still trying to form what they want to do going forward. The Cowboys also could go 8-0, go on to the playoffs, and then, lose some games in there, and just that's typical Cowboy fashion. But I could see a realistic season happening for the Cowboys where they don't win a majority of their games, where they kind of just eke into the playoffs and kind of squeeze past the New York Giants in a way. But I don't think the Cowboys are going to have the power right off the bat to beat the Giants. And it's crazy to think, because honestly, I look at the Giants and I don't really think that what they've got going down there is anything special either. But both of these teams have a lot of little talent. Obviously, the Cowboys have the bulk of the talent. But we talk about them so much that the talent might not actually be as good as, maybe they really are, okay? Yeah. Media really pushes things out of proportion. I do think CeeDee Lamb's a great wide receiver, okay? I do think Dak Prescott is a good leader, but maybe not the best quarterback for a team. They lose Ezekiel Elliott and got Tony Pollard, and now they move forward and think that they can just go off the bat and beat the Giants. And that's going to be a question I ask RJ White, as well as a bunch of other games I'm going to have questions about. I will ask RJ White from Sportsline.com when we get back here on the Morning Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Unlike other credit cards that decline sports betting transactions or treat them as a cash advance, the GBank Visa Signature Card can load directly to your favorite sportsbook apps. G.bank/VSiN.
College football, Georgia remains number 1 in the AP Top 25. They're plus 240 to win the national title. Michigan stays put at number 2, plus 700 to win the title. Chiefs and Lions open up the NFL season Thursday night at Kansas City. Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce questionable for the game after suffering a knee injury during Tuesday's practice. The 33-year-old hasn't missed a game due to injury since his rookie year in 2013. He's been held out of low-stakes games to end the regular season twice. Kansas City now favored by 4.5. The money line on the Lions plus 210. On the Chiefs minus 218. The total, 52.5. The Chiefs at plus 600 to repeat as Super Bowl champs. Get the latest lines and more at vsin.com.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at Alumni Hall. Alumni Hall is the ultimate shopping experience for Alabama and Auburn fans. Located right here in Huntsville, come shop the best selection of officially licensed apparel, hats, Yeti, accessories, and gifts. Whether you're heading to the spring game or shopping graduation gifts or just love to show your school pride daily, come see us at Alumni Hall. University students, faculty, and military receive 10% off in store, and you can earn cash back with our Hall Pass rewards. Alumni Hall, located in Bridge Street Shopping Center, or shop anytime at alumnihall.com.
Welcome back. Stan McDonald from the Stanton Law Firm. I had lunch with Lewis just recently and with a client of ours, a mutual client, and great to hear all the good things going on at the Stanton Law Firm.
Thank you, Wes. The Stanton Law Firm, as you know, we've discussed before, we're dirt lawyers. We do a lot of real estate, litigation and closing. And yes, my son Lewis McDonald enjoyed meeting you a couple of weeks ago, and a couple of your friends. He is, as you know, he's opened up a commercial closing division. So he's really helping a lot of people who are trying to close, buy, or sell on their commercial property. And you can't be in this community doing business without knowing Wes neighbors.
I don't know about that, but it sure was getting to meet another McDonald and talking a little bit about his grandfather, Coach Dye, and right, the different things. It was a lot of fun.
Well, your listeners are really going to enjoy meeting Lewis and you in this community. And like I said, at Jacob Title or the Stanton Law Firm, we close business. We close some good commercial closings, residential closings. We appreciate being part of your show.
These days, saving time is important, and saving money is even more so. That's where Eagle Masonry and Insulation comes in. Over the years, Eagle has expanded their services to meet the needs of folks like you in our area. If your home needs updating or you have some projects that you just haven't gotten to, Eagle can help. They install shower doors, mirrors, shelving, blinds, bath hardware, and lots more. Call Eagle Masonry and Insulation today at 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time, and Eagle saves you money.
Tom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
The End Zone Sports Bar has done it again. This time, they're bringing their jumbo wings, handcrafted burgers, Tex-Mex, and New York-style pizza to the Mid-City District with their new location on McMurtry Drive Northwest opposite the Target Plaza. Tuesdays at the End Zone means half-price burgers, and Wednesday is $1 jumbo wings all day long. The End Zone also features Sunday ticket for all your NFL viewing. The newest End Zone Sports Bar in the Mid-City District on McMurtry near the Target Plaza. Get in the End Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. For this Wednesday, expect a mostly sunny sky. High temperatures going to be topping out in the lower 90s for the afternoon. Scattered showers and thunderstorms going to be possible in the afternoon as well. Heading into your Wednesday night, we'll keep rain in the forecast through at least midnight. Otherwise, we'll see a partly cloudy sky. Low temperatures going to be falling into the lower 70s. I'm meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Hello and welcome back in to the Morning Blitz. John Abraham, Captain Cool, alongside the Bandiman, Bailey Lowery.
How's it going?
You know it's going good, Bandy, okay? You asked me that twice already. Now it's 3 times. It's going great, okay? It's a beautiful day outside. We got a lot of football. And, we get to talk with our good friend RJ White from Sportsline.com because he's on the Neighbors Wealth Management hotline. RJ, how are you doing today? RJ?
Yeah, I'm here. How's it
Okay.
going?
Hi, I'm doing good. Let's talk about this Cowboys team real quick. We talked about it briefly prior to our conversation now, but what sense does it make to bring in Trey Lance? And also, do you see this Cowboys team coming out the gates hot this season and then kind of dwindling down later on like they usually do? Or do you possibly see a loss in week 1 against the Giants and then maybe a rebound moving forward past that?
Yeah, I think you can bring in a guy like Trey Lance if you have an established franchise quarterback that nobody questions is the franchise quarterback. So it's not going to upset team chemistry if you were to do it on a team that has maybe a weaker or an unknown quarterback. Like Green Bay did it, and they were trying to build around Jordan Love. Immediately the questions would start, when is Trey Lance going to replace Jordan Love? But you can do it if Dak Prescott's your quarterback. Spending a 4th-round pick on it is a little pricey. To me, that might seem to me like they have ideas to build him into the game plan in very limited versions to use as like a rushing quarterback or take advantage of his legs by opening up some space on key downs. So I still think Dak Prescott's going to play 98% of the time, obviously, but there might be packages where you can use a Trey Lance in there. And in terms of how well the Cowboys will do, I mean, they were really good last year, top 5 in points scored and points against. It seems like their offensive philosophy this year wants to be run the ball and play defense. They don't want their defense on the field as much as possible by scoring too quickly, which seems to be the take that Mike McCarthy was kind of alluding to during the offseason, which is very weird. Score the points you can when you can and deal with it later. So we'll see if that plays out. The division's gotten stronger. I mean, the Eagles are still the Eagles. The Giants should be better in Brian Daboll's second year. I don't know if they'll be better on their record. Everybody knows they overperformed record-wise, so everybody expects them to regress. But the bones of the team is going to be better, and they're very well coached. And then Washington looks like they might have a solid quarterback in Sam Howell, and they might surprise some people. So it's going to be a tough division for Dallas. And even starting out in that first game against the Giants is not an easy game, having to go to New York for week 1. So whether they start hot and fade or whether they're kind of a little bit underperforming throughout the season, I think they probably fall short of expectations this year.
Yeah, and my idea was that the Cowboys would still be one of those top teams in all of the NFL. But at the same time, that the start is kind of the big thing for them if they're going to start hot or if they're going to end hot. just really depends on how this team is rolling through the season. And I honestly agree with you. Having a Trey Lance and having to trade with a fourth-round pick, it seems like they want to do something with him. And I think that it's a good idea to kind of keep Dak Prescott out of the injury room and all that stuff, because he doesn't have to do as many runs, because he does have the legs. He just doesn't. You don't want to kind of risk your franchise quarterback like that. Kind of speaking of injuries, though, we look over to the Rams. Cooper Kupp looks to be injured going into Week 1. How unlikely does the Rams season already look without their star wideout on the team?
Yeah, it seems like he was the only guy you could trust, and guys will emerge throughout the season. I know Puka Nacua was a guy a lot of people like, a sleeper in the draft, so maybe he plays a little bit more this year. But you don't get over losing a guy like Cooper Kupp, because he's so critical to that offense. When he's traveling to get that looked at and a second opinion looked at, it's probably not good. Wouldn't expect to see him anytime soon, and that could sink them before the season even starts, unless McVay has been in the lab creating some offense that doesn't rely on the receivers too much, a la, say, the Ravens of a few years ago. Even if he doesn't have the type of quarterback that could take advantage of the running game, but if they can run the offense through a Cam Akers and Tyler Higbee, maybe they can stay afloat. But considering they were already so shorthanded on defense too, with Aaron Donald and then a bunch of kind of who is this guy question marks. It really seems like it's going to be tough for them to have the talent to compete with a lot of these teams, except for the 2 games they get to play against Arizona, of course.
Yeah, and kind of speak to the listeners who've drafted Cooper Kupp on their team in fantasy football. Kind of speak on what players might they be able to pick up to kind of replace him that other teams might not have looked at whenever they were doing their fantasy draft.
Yeah, if you drafted him before this injury came out and took him in the first round, that's really tough, because you're then losing the chance to have a blue chip player above him or two. If you were able to get him later in the second round or the third round because of this injury, then I think your season looks pretty good, and he could be a league winner when he does come back. This doesn't seem like it's going to be losing the whole season. So you're really just looking for who's going to keep you afloat for a few weeks. A guy like Marvin Mims on Denver, he's going to play more than expected and early in the season because of the Jerry Jeudy injury. They should use him more. Sean Payton's great at getting, kind of no-name receivers, giving them upside in leagues. We know what he did in New Orleans. So he could be a guy to look at. I think you could look to the Chiefs if Travis Kelce's injury keeps him from playing a week or 2 or 3. They're going to have to throw to the receivers more. So a guy like Sky Moore is gone, but anybody besides Sky Moore could be available, whether it's the rookie Rashee Rice, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, could be good for some big plays and really get you that. Has a chance to approach that Cooper Kupp level if he has one of those games where he catches a long touchdown, because then you're looking at like 4 catches, 130 yards, and a touchdown. Then at least you're getting something near Cooper Kupp production, especially in non-PPR. So you can look to the Chiefs for their depth chart at receiver, see if you can find somebody there. Somebody's going to emerge for the Giants at receiver. I like Wan'Dale Robinson. They drafted him in the second round last year. Obviously had some ideas about how to use him. Dealt with injuries last year. He's back. He avoided the PUP. Looks like he's going to be okay to start the season. We'll see if he emerges throughout the year, whatever their plan was for him last year, and could be a guy that takes some of the pressure off Darren Waller and Daniel Jones.
Yeah, and kind of looking at the Chiefs squad that you were talking about, they're going into their matchup against the Lions tomorrow night, which, by the way, will be on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, so you guys can listen to it here. But looking at that matchup without the Chris Jones, without the Travis Kelce's, I mean, how does this kind of adjust the line that was on this game prior to these injuries, or these injuries and also Chris Jones?
Yeah, so it was 7 for a lot of the summer. It came down to 6.5, I think, with the expectation that Chris Jones might not report, and then with the Kelce injury news, it's dropped since. I think you can still get it at 5.5 if you want to take the Detroit side at FanDuel and most other places. I think it's 4.5 now. So you have to decide: is Travis Kelce worth 2 points to the line? Maybe he is. He's probably the most essential non-quarterback in the league to an offense, considering they lost Tyreek Hill last year, heading into last year. So maybe he is, but it would be unprecedented. Like, I don't even think Jerry Rice was worth 2 points to the line back in the day. So I think it's a little bit of an overreaction. I think if you're going to bet the line, there's probably value on the Chiefs, as terrifying as it is to play them without Travis Kelce and Chris Jones, because they still have Patrick Mahomes. They still have Andy Reid. Those guys, like they're pounding out 30-point performances every year on week 1. You don't want to give Andy Reid extra time to prepare. And it's not like they're as bereft at receiver as we thought they were last year. Sky Moore has gotten more playing, more practice time, and he looks like he's going to emerge in this offense. They added Rashee Rice, that receiver. They added Richie James, who could be a factor over the middle on some of these those intermediate routes that Travis Kelce runs. So he could be a guy that steps up in week one, that if you're looking for in deeper leagues, if you're looking for a guy to go with, Richie James might be a guy that emerges. So there are guys available because he actually did perform pretty well for the Giants last year. So I think that they're not completely out of the water. It's not like the offense isn't going to operate with Patrick Mahomes. They'll find some guys at receiver to throw to.
Great stuff from RJ White from Sportsline.com. And now looking over to the AFC North, Joe Burrow maybe day-to-day, according to Bengals head coach Zach Taylor. Kind of talk about his situation and how big of a difference the Bengals are with Burrow compared to without.
Yeah, that line came down to -1 when he was in question. Now it's back up to 2.5 where it was all summer. So I think the expectation is he's going to play. We'll see how effective he is. We've seen in the past he hasn't been able to play in the preseason because of other injuries, and he hasn't been as effective to start the year, but he got better as the year went on. So if that's the guy that we're going to see this year, that offensive line better hold up. I know it was a problem last year because the Browns can get after him.
Exactly.
So I think Orlando Brown, a left tackle, is going to be tested right away. But if he can hold up, give Burrow time to throw. It's a quick passing game anyway, so they're going to plan for getting the ball out quickly and try to neutralize that pass rush there. And then it'll be on the Browns' cornerbacks to cover. That's probably their weakest area of the team is that cornerback. So if you're trying to have those guys line up against DeMar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, and you're getting the ball out quickly, it could be an issue. And since he could go out and score 30 points. I think that's probably what the game plan is going to be if he's healthy enough to play. But it's a long season. They have Super Bowl aspirations. If there's any risk of re-injury, I think it makes sense to just shut him down for a week, maybe 2 weeks, and just expect that you're going to be in the playoffs and you want him healthy in January.
Exactly. Keep him safe for the long haul. And then, RJ, tell us the lines from week 1 that you are kind of not buying into, and then tell us the game of the week and all the games, honestly, that you are eyeballing.
Yeah, an interesting line is Washington, Arizona. Nobody believes in Arizona, and how could you with their quarterback situation and the look at their roster? But 7 points is a lot to lay for a Washington team that was not that impressive last year. And when they won games, it was low-scoring defensive battles. They weren't winning shootouts. So I'm uncomfortable laying 7 with them until we know that Sam Howell was good. He looked pretty solid in the preseason, but until we know that they can score a bunch of points, I'm not that comfortable laying 7 with them. So that's kind of an interesting line to me. I think the later slate, has some potential there when you're looking at games like the Raiders-Broncos game. The Broncos do very well in week 1 at home throughout their history. It's just hard for teams that aren't used to playing yet, aren't fully conditioned yet, to come to altitude and play in Denver. So that line has dropped because of the Jerry Jeudy injury, because Josh Jacobs is back. It's down to 3.5. It seems like a very good value to me, considering the coaching mismatch there between Sean Payton and Josh McDaniels anyway. The Raiders aren't expected to be that good. And then you throw in the home field advantage for the Broncos. And then we talked about the Cooper Kupp injury. I thought that line, even with Kupp, should have been 7, because I really believe in Seattle this year. I think I've said it on the show several times that I think they're the most underrated team in the league. Now it's only 5 because of the Cooper Kupp injury, 5.5 at some places. It should be north of 7 if he doesn't play. So I think that's probably the best line to attack is the Seattle line, because I expect them to win pretty handily.
Great stuff, RJ. Let the people know where they can find your work on socials and online.
You can find me on Twitter and Blue Sky at RJWhite1. You can find my work at Sportsline. Just today we published my look. It's my season-long look at Survivor pools. So if you play in a Survivor pool where you only have to pick one winner each week and you can't use the same team twice, I lay out the whole season, look at where you should be saving teams for, and put together a few options for your plan throughout the season, whether you're trying to win a smaller pool or some bigger pools. So you can go and check that out and start planning your Survivor strategy with that article.
Great stuff, RJ. Can't wait to talk with you next Wednesday when we have week 1 in the books and we have a better look at the power rankings going into week 2.
Take care.
Good stuff. RJ White from Sportsline.com. The guy knows everything I throw at him. I have the questions. He's got the answers, and you guys should look to him for those answers as well. Go and check out Sportsline.com. Find RJ and find all what he's got to talk about going into this NFL season. But me and Bandy have to go into a break. When we come back, we're going to take a look at some more NFL teams, the teams that didn't really show out last year but might have a better chance going into 2023. That's what's coming up here on the Morning Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Don't let your back or neck pain get in the way. Get back to doing the things you love with the spine and neuro team from Huntsville Hospital. As the most experienced in the area, we have been improving lives in North Alabama for more than 50 years. Whether your favorite fishing hole is on Wilson Lake in the Shoals, Flint Creek, or Lake Gunnersville, Spine and Neuro is nearby to get you back to your best. Visit us online at spineandneuro.com to learn more.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, "If you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself."
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
From the 554 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. For this Wednesday, expect a mostly sunny sky. High temperatures going to be topping out in the lower 90s for the afternoon. Scattered showers and thunderstorms going to be possible in the afternoon as well. Heading into your Wednesday night, we'll keep rain in the forecast through at least midnight. Otherwise, we'll see a partly cloudy sky. Low temperatures going to be falling into the lower 70s. I'm meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Listen each Friday to the Woody Anderson Ford High School Football Scoreboard Show, powered by the Huntsville Sports Commission on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I get slight PTSD from that scoreboard show music. Just because it was like the only time I ever had to run the board for a show.
Oh, that's the first time you've ever actually had to run the board?
It was the first time, and I had to do it throughout the majority of last season, at least until it went over, obviously, to our main air, which you guys can catch it after all of the games are done, all the 5 games that will be on our 97.7 HSSN slate of games. It's just going to be a wonderful amount of games. And then afterwards, Scott Tyson will be giving you guys the rundown on all of the North Alabama games, so you definitely want to listen into that to keep up with all of the high school matchups going on in North Alabama. Now, I was going to talk a little bit about the teams that were sitting at the bottom of their division last season and that have the best opportunity to kind of reach for that number 1 spot in their division this season, okay?
Okay.
Some teams can get up there. Some teams, obviously, are probably going to sit at the bottom. Arizona's not going to be moving around at all. But you look over, the Falcons have a chance. The Browns have a chance. Even the Jets have a huge chance. I mean, just they're definitely not going to be last in that division. I'm looking more towards the Patriots there.
I don't know. Oh, yeah. Well, Yeah, I mean, I was looking. I looked at the top two. I was like Buffalo, and Miami. I'm like, that's going to be.
It's tough division.
That'll be a tough division. I was like, they won't finish last. Yeah, New England.
But it really is going to be interesting to see how Josh Allen performs with this Buffalo Bills team. I still think they're going to be great, but can they take them all the way to the Super Bowl? That's a question to be had. I was going to talk about that, but I think since it's getting later in the show, I want a little bit more time to talk about that. The number is 256-576-4977. And that's the number to hop in real quick with us before we get out of here and I head on to the Trash Pandas game because I cannot wait for that. I'm wearing shorts today, Bandy. That's something that I don't really do. But Bandy, kind of looking at these Week 1 matchups, we got a few good games on the slate. Okay, I think the Browns versus the Bengals obviously is going to be the one I'm going to watch. Okay, that's just it's going to be.
Oh, I gave that away.
It's going to be a good matchup. I don't know. I'm not a fan of either team. I like it. And then obviously, I'd say the Jaguars and Colts is always going to be an interesting one. Mainly want to see Anthony Richardson. We also want to see how Trevor Lawrence is going to be progressing with that Jaguars offense. Going on again, the Texans versus Ravens. Ravens definitely going to win this game. They're 10-point favorites. But the Texans, you got C.J. Stroud, you got Will Anderson. You got a lot of fun to watch in that game, whether they're going to get the crap beat out of them or not. That's just going to be what we get to watch. 49ers versus Steelers. Want to see how the Steelers kind of perform. Brock Purdy's back, baby. Got to see if he's going to be healthy. Got to see if he's going to have the same productivity as he had last season. Packers versus Bears. Jordan Love versus Justin Fields. We got a new era of Packers football. The Cheeseheads are rejoicing. And then the Bears, looking to be a lot better than last season. They only won 3 games. That's crazy to think about. And now this team's looked at like they're going to be one of the better teams in the NFL. Justin Fields going to be good. I think he'll have the legs like last season. But will his passing improve? That's the thing I want to see. Jordan Love, I want to see how he's going to perform leading this team. I think that the Packers did a great job kind of growing him as a second string to be a first string quarterback, not like what the 49ers did, throwing Trey Lance right into the fray. But we get to see it, and I honestly am looking forward to it. I think the Packers are going to come out on top of that one. Titans and Saints, got to see how this new Saints team's going to look. The Titans added some new weapons at the wide receiver position as well as the running back position. They're looking like they're a lot better than they have been. So Titans, honestly, could be a really good team, but it's the Titans. So they could be a really good team and then lose all of their games to all their tougher opponents. But I think they're for sure wins against their lesser opponents. I think they will actually beat the Saints in Week 1. Going down the line, that Patriots versus Eagles game will be interesting again. We finally get to see Jalen Hurts come out here. We got to see this new team come out here, the Eagles. Off of a Super Bowl loss to see if they have the same energy as well as Mac Jones at the quarterback position for these Patriots. Got to see what Bill Belichick is cooking up for this team because honestly, if I don't see the Patriots get over 8-9 wins this season, I don't think Bill Belichick's want to be coaching for this team anymore. That guy's used to the 12-plus win seasons. And then, of course, the Bills and the Jets. This is the game to watch, guys. It is Monday Night Football. It's going to be 9/11. There's going to be a lot of emotion. We're going to get to see Aaron Rodgers in all of his glory, and we're going to get to see Josh Allen going up against the veteran, and you got to love it. And also, Dalvin Cook, I want to see his what he's going to really do for this team. Okay, yeah. We haven't got to see him all preseason long. Breece Hall got a few touches, but Dalvin Cook is that question mark where it's like, well, you add a big body like Dalvin Cook, let's see how much this duo can do for this Jets team. I'm not even like Aaron Rodgers, that's fine. He's a quick passer. I love what I'm seeing from him, but these running backs are what I really want to see because we haven't got to see a lot of Breece Hall. And now we get Dalvin Cook in the green and white. Okay, so that's going to be an awesome matchup to see. And on top of that, the Dolphins versus the Chargers. Tua Tagovailoa versus Justin Herbert. Tua, please stay healthy. If you do, your team will be number 1 in your division, beating out the Bills, beating out the Jets, and for sure, beating out the Patriots. I'm riding the Tua train all the way to the Super Bowl.
Beating out the Bills, okay.
I do say so.
I know. We'll hold you to that. We'll hold you on the Miami Dolphins train. You're going to be a Browns and a Miami fan this year.
If the Chargers are a good first opponent for this Dolphins team, and you know what? Chargers may be favorites in this game. I think the underdog Dolphins are going to win. I like it. I wish I could bet.
I'm still sticking with my Bryce Young NFL Rookie of the Year award winner.
Stick with that one, Bandy. And you guys, stick with 97.7 because Tom Abraham's coming up at 12, live from Toyota Field. For me and the Bandiman, this has been the Morning Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
With us today, Dr. Tracy Lowery of Best Vein Care of Huntsville.
When we evaluate a patient and they indeed have significant venous disease, most third-party payers, private insurance, Medicare, require us to treat every